Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by big heavyweight Darren Sealy. Darren, how are you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Josh?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Not
Good,
too
man.
bad at all.
Good.
Last time we spoke, you were off your professional debut, unfortunately coming out on the wrong end. But what has changed since then? Have you picked it back up and ready to go again?
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't say any negatives the last few months. I think since the last time we spoke, had to do a bit of soul searching, but I've changed coaches, changed gyms. I'm in a new environment now, and the passion and the work ethic is sky high. So I'm ready to rock and roll, man. Loving the situation and the coaching and the stable that I'm in at the moment. So yeah, onwards and upwards. It's been a really good few months.
Was it in terms of a little bit of a mental reset there, because you've got to put that behind you and you've got to change things going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't dwell on the past, obviously negative or positive, but it was the outcome that I didn't want. Reset and go again, obviously, but there were a few things I had to change in the background to make sure that when we are back in the ring, I'm putting the best display on and showing what Darren Sealy is made of. So I'm definitely in that situation now. I was working with, don't know if I mentioned on the last interview, a sports psychologist, sport mode named Lee. He's been incredible in just helping me shift my mental patterns and my fortitude. And then whilst working with him, started training week in, week out at the Matchroom with the Matchroom boys, especially Dempsey in his last camp, and alongside Jordan Thompson and the whole boys there. So it's been amazing. And then transitioned over to training in Essex full time now with Billy Whitrod at TW1 boxing in Ongar. So I'm loving it, man.
You mentioned being in the Matchroom gym there. There's obviously plenty of world champions and top prospects as well down in that gym. What sort of motivation does it give you to be amongst them and seeing what they're achieving as well?
Huge amount of motivation. I think it's not one of those facilities or gyms that you just walk in and have a gander and start hitting the bags. You need to be invited. So just that alone, that fills you with a lot of confidence. But to be able to go there week in, week out and spar with those boys and know that I can handle my own, with contenders, world champions, just incredible elite level boxers, that fuels my fire and just lets me know who I am, because I want people to know who Darren Sealy is, and that's the most important thing. So being in those types of environments with those types of coaches and boxers, you can't do no wrong.
As well as being down in Essex, we know you were sparring Francis Ngannou fairly recently as he prepares to take on Tyson Fury. What was that experience like for yourself, and sparring someone who doesn't have much boxing experience, but is obviously very, very accomplished in other sports?
Yeah. I think it's a double-edged sword. Everybody is going to put him on a pedestal, and rightly so. He's a world champion. He's incredible at what he does. And I think the crossover isn't necessarily too worlds apart for him. Sparring him was an honor, but I held my own. I showed what I'm made of, and obviously I'm Fury's height and size, so it's very ideal sparring for him. So yeah, I definitely gave a good account of myself, made sure I handled myself correctly, and took the last, I'd say, 6 months of experience sparring with the Matchroom boys, sparring and training, under Billy at TW1. I knew I just had to put my best foot forward. I knew I had the skills, and I do have the skills. So it was just about showing that, and I earned their respect and earned Francis's respect. But he's an incredible athlete, incredible puncher. I mean, he's the world record holder for a reason. That man is strong. So you definitely feel it. But it was great rounds. It was brilliant.
What were you expecting out of Francis when he turned at the gym, and did he match or exceed those expectations?
I'd say he definitely exceeded it. There's no way you can gauge that type of power and that type of come forwardness. The man is there to do damage. And like I said, to be able to hold my own, I know that realistically, I don't think many people are going to try and hit me as hard as him. So yeah, he definitely has everything it takes, and probably a little bit more. So whoever thinks it's a complete mismatch, I think they're wrong. I'll definitely give him his kudos. he's an amazing person, an amazing athlete. Very, very humble, very laid back, good man. And welcomed me, you know. So we did our rounds, and it was competitive. It was good.
From what you say there, not a mismatch against Tyson Fury. Do you believe he can beat Tyson?
Absolutely, absolutely. Anyone can beat anybody on their day, but he is the, you know, world record holder for his strength and his punching power for a reason. You know, you don't want to take one of those clean. It's as simple as that. So, you know, he's preparing diligently. He's getting in the correct sparring. Obviously, he's got a guy here who's 6'9", so you know, and he's fighting somebody who's 6'9", so it makes ideal sense. There's not many of us knocking around, but like I said, it was a privilege to be invited and go there and do what I needed to do, but also to put your best foot forward and earn their respect. That's another thing for me. So, you know, the confidence is extremely, extremely high.
It may be an obvious question, but what does Francis Ngannou have to do to win that fight? How does the victory come for him?
I mean, there's a number of game plans, you know. I'm obviously not plugged into their game plan completely, but in my opinion, as long as he is not tentative with his shots, you know, he's obviously confident in his ability. He knows what the power that he holds in himself, and he just displays that power. I think it could be a very, very well-matched, close fight. Don't think it's going to be a shutout for a reason. I don't think Tyson Fury tries to fight anybody or get in the ring with people he can just walk all over. I mean, you saw with the Wilders and the Jared Chisoras of the world. But at the end of the day, Francis Ngannou he's about that. He's about that life. Like he can hit, and he has skills. So yeah, as long as he displays that, it'll be good.
You mentioned Jordan Thompson earlier and having the chance to share a ring with him. He's in with Jai Opetaia in a couple of weeks for the world title. He's probably going to go into that as a slight underdog. Opetaia holding the experience, and he's obviously got that world title around his waist. What do you believe Jordan Thompson can do to get that title off him?
Firstly, to me, in my eyes and a lot of people's eyes, he's not an underdog at all. Jordan Thompson is world level and will definitely give Jai Opetaia, or however you pronounce it, a lot of problems. That man is different in terms of skill set, the amount of movement he has, his ring craft. He's very tall as well. I don't know if many people have seen him in person, but he's almost as tall as me. You know, he walks around heavy and he carries strength in both hands. The man is dangerous. So, you know, a privilege to train with him, but also a privilege to call him a friend. I think he's got a lot of untapped potential, and he's displayed it very well, especially against Luke Watkins and stuff like that. But he's really come into his own, and I think I wouldn't necessarily say he needs to do this or that. Just be the best Jordan Thompson on the night, and I believe that he'll get the win quite convincingly and make this world champion, you know, quaking in his boots and just think, oh, I couldn't really handle that. But Jordan Thompson is excellent.
We've talked about Tyson Fury on one side of the heavyweight division. I think it would be right to talk a little bit about Anthony Joshua as well. It looks although he would be facing Deontay Wilder this December or January, whichever date that eventually reached. But that's been thrown into the air now, and we're not really sure if that's going to happen. What do you see as the future for Anthony Joshua, if there is a future at the top of that level as well?
Well, the thing with AJ and Anthony is because he has obviously so many external pressures, I believe, you know, as long as he stays true to himself, he's a fighting man. You know, in my eyes, he's never turned down a huge fight. He's very competitive. He wants that smoke. You know, he's not ever shying away from any type of challenge. So whenever it does happen, if it does come to fruition, I think him versus Wilder is a very, very good matchup for obvious reasons. But I think he does the business in convincing fashion. Just because it's not December doesn't mean it can't be January or February. You know, you just get Christmas out of the way and you're good to go. So I think he's definitely got his mind and heart and his hands ready and set on the big opportunities that are about to be presented. But I don't think he's going to be, you know, losing any sleep over it being delayed a little bit, because he's ready to go and he will be ready to go.
And for yourself, new training team in situ, mental attitude in a good place.
Absolutely.
What's next up for yourself, Darren?
Next up for us is just looking at potentially getting some sponsors on board. Just obviously with costs and being a professional boxer full time, it has its expenses. Once we're able to do that and just get our ducks in order, then we'll be coming for some names. The record obviously doesn't look amazing on BoxRec, but we have reasons for that, and I now know why. We took a loss in the debut, but like we said, that's in the past. Moving forward, it's about getting as many fights as we can, putting on entertaining shows for people, and letting them believe in the name and our name, because obviously I'm with a new team now and stuff like that, but I've been secretly, if you will, training with them for months, and now we're ready to show people the work that's been done and is being done week in, week out, and day out.
Right, good stuff. Really appreciate your time as always, Darren, and best of luck with everything coming up.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Have a good one.